Hi guys, I've been catching up on recent news and there's actually some interesting stuff happening. NewJeans seem to be growing confidence in their injunction appeal, but it's hard to know exactly why. The case is sealed, so there aren't a lot of details available. They were very confident prior to the original injunction ruling too, but we saw how that went. Regardless, I want to discuss what's been going on around this case. Keep in mind I'm not a lawyer, this isn't legal advice, we're just here to have a jolly good time. This case is being called the legal battle of the century, with a total of 27 attorneys now involved. Ador's team contains 7 former judges, and NewJeans have enlisted 4 to combat this. Among them is attorney Park Hyung-nam from Woo-sung law firm, former director of the Judicial Policy Research Institute. This is significant because that institute lists influencing future judicial policy, restoring public trust in the justice system, and solving social conflicts as some of its main goals. Attorney Park has also stated he intends to go beyond simple interpretation of legal principles and consider the reality of the world, something he couldn't often do in his past role as judge. Next, let's take a look at the NJZ trademark. The NewJeans members applied for this trademark back in February. They recently filed for an expedited review of their application. However, they withdrew this request within a few days and left people with a lot of questions. Now, from what I understand, expedited reviews are usually granted when an applicant is already using a trademark or preparing to use it imminently. The injunction literally prohibits any activities under the name NJZ, so maybe their new law firm helped point out how obviously problematic this move was. There's actually been a lot of speculation surrounding everything NewJeans has been doing since the injunction was granted. But I'll take this opportunity to share my thoughts overall. We've got the Complex Con event in China, where they performed a new song and NJZ merchandise was sold. Ador was unable to make contact with them, and NewJeans announced they would go on hiatus instead of continuing their activities with the agency. They haven't returned to phoning, opting to engage with fans via their independent Instagram account. Then there's the recent controversy with Azad from Emotional Oranges. A post he made on Red Note sparked rumors of an independent collab with Danielle, but he did come out and deny this. Now we've got this trademark application stuff and everyone is screaming about NewJeans violating the injunction. Here's the thing, guys. Injunctions are judged on intent, not just effect. Something like the Complex Con thing would be judged based on effect, because performing new music and using the NJZ trademark are clear-cut prohibited actions. However, their social media activity would be judged based on intent, because posting personal content unrelated to their careers that doesn't involve their professional brand is not prohibited. What Ador could argue is that their use of these accounts in lieu of official channels is an attempt to sidestep their authority and promote themselves. With all that being said, it's improper to say NewJeans have violated anything because Ador has not even raised the issue yet. Injunctions aren't like being on parole. The court isn't micromanaging their every move, and there are no mandatory check-ins. If Ador feels the injunction was violated, they'd have to file a motion for contempt of court. They can also demand monetary compensation or ask the judge to tighten the restrictions of the injunction. From there, the court would host a hearing regarding these requests, and NewJeans would have the opportunity to defend themselves. Particularly for the Complex Con event, they could argue the injunction was not yet enforceable, and they were unaware of the details at that time. Even if they weren't formally served yet, the high-profile nature of this case makes it hard to believe they wouldn't know. But I digress. The injunction was granted just a couple days before the event, so it would have been logistically difficult to cancel or change course. It's also possible the NJZ merchandise was sold independently by the event organizer, which would make it hard to hold NewJeans legally responsible. All in all, it's not as straightforward as it seems. If you're wondering why Ador has not filed for such motions yet, I can only speculate. Based on what I know about Hybe and the way Ador has maneuvered throughout this whole legal battle, I'm inclined to believe they're letting NewJeans build a case against themselves before pouncing. That's what they did with the main lawsuit, that's what they did with the injunction, and that's what I think they're doing now. I say it all the time on this channel, never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake. Ador will play to the media like they're being merciful, but I believe they'll eventually file everything in one motion, and their previous restraint will make it harder for a judge to show NewJeans' leniency. The members are now working with 2 law firms, one of which is not representing Min Hee-jin. So I hope an outside perspective from someone like attorney Park Hyung-nam can help rein things in further. This attorney seems to have experience with innovating from legally disadvantaged positions. This is chess, not checkers, and Ador is outplaying them right now. I already did a super unlicensed analysis of the injunction appeal, so I won't yap about what they should do. If you ask me whether I think this injunction will get overturned, I would tell you no. That doesn't mean it can't happen, and there is a path to having it at least modified. Is it too little too late, though? That's really it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for future uploads.